Hey, I'm back. So I might have sort of rage deleted the app when the glorious leader stuff popped up on my feed. But with the time dilation of the last 4 weeks feeling like 2.5 years, it feels quaint now in comparison. Especially as my former career field, public health, is about to get set back 100 years. So that means I'm going to talk to you about silly wizard stuff instead. So instead, let's talk about ether drift, which I have consistently called ether spark throughout this whole thing because to me it was tennis for about a year. So I am in fact going to talk about the teams, the legends, all of that, because I know my audience here isn't necessarily the one online reading stuff. Not that you can't read, I just know the TikTok crew tends to not be the ones, actively reading story all the time. That's fine, not a big deal. So the Alacrian Quickbeasts are here in this race to forge alliances. For them, this is a political audition. March of the Machines opened everyone's eyes, and everyone realizes they're going to need allies for whatever comes next. The co-captains for the Alacrian Quickbeasts are Caradora and Lagorin. Now, the Quickbeasts themselves, like Lagorin, are creatures that feed on ether, and it gives them magical powers. And that's how they're able to compete with motorized vehicles and cast spells and all this stuff that you see throughout the set. They range from regular-looking animals to more fantastical beasts like Lagorin. Alacria itself sounds a bit like Ravnica in that it is organized into districts, and each district sort of has its own champion. A lot of them are racing in this race. Speaking of districts, it's really important to organize at your local level and get involved with local politics. It's a bunch of stuff you can actually directly affect, and I guarantee you if you start showing up to meetings, you'll realize pretty quickly it's a bunch of 60-plus-year-old white people holding up the field. Not that one or two of them didn't look like they threw a Molotov cocktail at their day, but we need young voices. The team symbol is a stylized halberd. It's the third from the bottom right there. I don't know why they haven't played into these team symbols more. This feels like something I would have plastered all over anything. I assume they didn't want people to think of it as a classic faction set. They've got some really cool creatures if you actually stop and pay attention to all the mounts in the set. A Lagak is like a giant lizard in Magic. I don't know if they're real. Got this massive ram in War Run Over. You have this cute two-piece sort of story with this little corgi, I guess. I don't know little dogs. And Bestow Greatness here, where it's gotten the +4/+4 and gotten huge. Notably, Caradora is in actually a lot of pieces of artwork. She might be in like a half dozen pieces. Her and Lagorin's story is that they're actually relatively new partners. Lagorin it's not quite clear how intelligent the Quickbeasts are, but Lagorin seems to be on the sapient side, and they're very picky about who they're going to partner with. And it seems like something bad happened to both her mount and Lagorin's previous champion, and so these two got paired up together relatively recently. Hopefully it's not this cutie pie that got injured or anything. But they've also got this cool wolf hawk thing, this sick jaguar. I mentioned before Caradora is in a lot of art, so she's also on this roadside assistance. And I mentioned before that they can cast spells. This appears to actually be the Quickbeast casting these spells, not the rider. We also know Alacria has a new breed of Leonin that look like cheetah. And there's also this cutie pie, who is apparently a flying possum. There's not really much else to say about the Alacrians. They seem to be sort of a high fantasy society, not really leaning into the technological aspect very much. In part because, like a lot of high fantasy societies in Magic, they don't actually need that technology. They have magical workarounds, like riding a giant freaking lynx really fast. You'll notice here you can see some of the symbols for the Alacrian Quickbeasts on these shields. And in fact, every team has a symbol like that, and they're spread all throughout the art if you look carefully. That's it for today. You can check out my Flavor Gems article on Cool Stuff Inc. to see more of my thoughts on all this stuff. And I'll be talking about, like I said, all the teams, all the planes, taking a closer look at all the legends.